I don't know where he might have, what might have happened. And that's frightening in itself to think that it was somebody that would do something like that in your neighborhood.
Jennifer Rothwell had it all: a promising career, a loving marriage, and a dream she was finally seeing come true: motherhood. At 6 weeks pregnant, she should have been planning baby showers and decorating a nursery. Instead, her story became a chilling reminder that the greatest dangers sometimes come from the people we trust the most. It began like so many disappearances do: a worried husband, a woman who failed to show up for work, and a frantic search for answers. But just beneath the surface of this suburban tragedy lay a truth so horrifying, so deeply calculated, it would leave an entire community stunned. This is not just the story of a woman who went missing, it's the story of betrayal, premeditation, and a handwritten list that would expose a husband's darkest intentions. How does a man go from exchanging wedding vows to writing a pros and cons list about murdering his pregnant wife? How can evil live so quietly inside a seemingly normal home? This story isn't just about a murder, it's about a mask that slipped, a life stolen, and a truth so disturbing it'll leave you breathless. On November 12, 2019, Jennifer Rothwell failed to show up at her job at DuPont in St. Louis, something that was completely unlike her. She was responsible, reliable, and deeply committed to her work. When calls to her phone went unanswered, her co-workers grew alarmed and called her husband, Bo Rothwell. Bo appeared concerned and told police she had been home the previous night, watching TV before going to bed. He said everything had seemed normal. But now, she was gone. That same day, her car was discovered abandoned just a few miles from their home. Jennifer's phone was inside the vehicle, but she was nowhere to be found. To the outside world, it looked like another missing persons case, a story we've heard before. But investigators had a feeling something wasn't right. A pregnant woman vanishing without her phone? Her husband's oddly calm demeanor? Behind every unanswered call and every closed door, the first cracks in Bo's story were starting to show. Police turned their attention to the Rothwell home, and Bo. When detectives asked to search the house, Bo refused and promptly hired a lawyer. A search warrant was quickly obtained, and what investigators found inside the Rothwell basement was nothing short of nightmarish. The room reeked of bleach. The carpet was soaked in cleaning solution, a fan was running at full speed, and the windows were wide open, despite freezing temperatures outside. On one wall, there was a deep indentation, as if someone had been slammed against it. Forensic teams soon confirmed the worst: the stains in the basement were blood. And the DNA matched Jennifer. But it was a piece of paper, tucked among Bo's belongings, that turned investigators' stomachs. A handwritten, pros and cons, list, cold, calculated, and disturbingly clinical. It listed the advantages of leaving Jennifer. Better intimacy. Fresh start. More respect. The cons? Disappointing family. Financial strain. Her name, and her pregnancy, didn't even appear. The list wasn't just creepy, it was monstrous. Imagine weighing the life of your wife and unborn child like a business decision. Not a shred of emotion. No mention of love. No mention of Jennifer at all. Just a chilling plan that now pointed investigators toward an unimaginable truth: this wasn't a disappearance. It was a cover-up. As detectives dug deeper into Bo's private life, a disturbing picture began to form. Bo had been having an affair. Phone records, deleted messages, and internet activity revealed that he was deeply involved with another woman. Her identity was never disclosed publicly, but the relationship was serious, not just a fling. The texts between Bo and his mistress were unsettling. He vented about Jennifer's pregnancy, expressing resentment and fear. One message read, "I feel trapped." Another, "This is not what I want." Instead of celebrating the pregnancy with Jennifer, Bo was texting another woman about how miserable he felt. Even more chilling was a conversation where Bo laid out 3 solutions to his problem. 1. End the affair and stay with Jennifer. 2. Divorce her. 3. Wait and see if something happens to the pregnancy. That vague final option would soon take on horrifying meaning. Think about that. Wait and see if something happens to the pregnancy. Was that a hope for miscarriage? Or something far more sinister? These weren't the words of a confused husband. They were the red flags of a man willing to trade fatherhood for freedom, no matter the cost. A deadly decision was already taking shape. Unbeknownst to Bo, Jennifer had been searching the internet for help, desperately trying to make sense of his cold behavior. Her search history painted a tragic picture: what to do if your husband is upset about your pregnancy. Why would a husband not want a baby? Jennifer sensed the shift in her marriage, but she had no idea just how much danger she was in. She believed they were preparing to start a family. Bo believed she, and their unborn child, were obstacles to be removed. Then came the timeline that sealed the truth. The day before Jennifer went missing, Bo purchased bleach, gloves, and cleaning supplies. Surveillance footage from a nearby store confirmed it. He had planned this. He didn't snap in a moment of passion. He prepared to erase her. While Jennifer searched for comfort online, Bo was walking through store aisles, picking up the tools of her destruction. She was Googling how to save her marriage. He was buying bleach. She was looking for hope. He was plotting an exit. Two lives moving in opposite directions, and one of them was running out of time. 6 days after Jennifer went missing, the search came to a heartbreaking end. On November 18, 2019, investigators found a body along Highway 61 near Troy, Missouri, about 45 miles from the Rothwell home. It was naked, covered in leaves, and positioned in a fetal position. A plastic bag had been placed over the head. The next day, the body was confirmed to be Jennifer Rothwell. The autopsy revealed she had been beaten to death with a blunt object, a mallet. Her skull had been crushed with such force that her injuries resembled those from a car crash. She had been attacked in her own basement, the place she should have felt safest, and left to die alone. Even worse, Jennifer's unborn child had died with her. A child she had longed for. A baby she had cherished. A life stolen before it ever had a chance to begin. The image haunts the soul: a young woman, pregnant with life, buried in leaves like trash. No dignity. No mercy. A nursery was supposed to be in her future, not a shallow grave. Bo didn't just end Jennifer's life, he silenced a future she dreamed of every single day. And for what? To chase lust? Bo Rothwell was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and abandoning a corpse. For nearly 3 years, the case moved toward trial. And in April 2022, the courtroom doors finally opened. The prosecution laid out their case with precision. Bo had bought cleaning supplies before Jennifer disappeared. He had handwritten a pros and cons list about killing her. Blood was found in the basement. He had motive, means, and opportunity. It was murder, planned and executed. The defense claimed it was a crime of passion, that Bo snapped after learning the baby wasn't his. But the paternity test proved that was a lie. The baby was Bo's. And Jennifer's Google searches about his lack of support proved she never doubted the paternity. Bo hadn't snapped. He had plotted. When the prosecution read Bo's own words aloud, the courtroom froze. This wasn't a husband overwhelmed by life, this was a man who played judge, jury, and executioner. His calculated evil disguised itself as panic. But his digital footprints, his receipts, his handwritten list, they all screamed one thing: this was no accident. It was murder. On April 28, 2022, the jury returned their verdict: guilty on all charges. Bo Rothwell was sentenced to life in prison without parole, plus 4 additional years for tampering with evidence and abandoning a corpse. Before being taken away, Bo offered a hollow apology to Jennifer's family, claiming she was his best friend. But no best friend makes a list weighing their partner's life. No best friend plans their murder, buys bleach, and beats them to death in their own home.
I don't know where we might have, what might have happened. And that's frightening in itself, to think that it was somebody that would do something like that in your neighborhood.
Jennifer's mother, Robin, later said, "We thought we would have more than 28 years with her." She had envisioned watching her daughter become a mother, celebrate birthdays, grow old. Instead, she was left with grief, silence, and memories. Bo's crocodile tears fooled no one. The jury saw it. The judge saw it. Jennifer's family saw it.
Look, I feel it like that. I care. And a lot of people do. I know a lot of people do, but we're not all the same. We don't express it the same way.
His sentence may have brought legal justice, but it could never restore the life, the laughter, the legacy that Jennifer should have lived. A mother's dream died in that basement, and no apology could ever resurrect it. Jennifer Rothwell should be alive today. She should be planning a birthday party for a toddler. She should be living the life she dreamed of. Instead, she became a victim of the man who vowed to love and protect her. Her story is more than a tragedy, it's a warning. Abuse doesn't always come with bruises. Sometimes it comes in the form of silence, detachment, and deceit. Jennifer tried to understand her husband. She searched for answers. But what she didn't know was that her life was already being calculated like a math problem. Pros and cons. May Jennifer and her unborn child rest in peace. And may her story remind us to look deeper, to speak out, and to protect those who can't always protect themselves. Evil doesn't always need. Jennifer's story demands that we never ignore warning signs, that we ask hard questions, and that we listen when someone feels unsafe. Share her name. Remember her life. And be the voice for those who lose theirs to betrayal in the dark.